Our speaker this morning has an introduction that can be unrivaled by anyone. Brian Ross. Brian Ross has been with Family Heritage for 12 years, and he and his wife Lisa live out in Jacksonville, Florida. My wife's actually going to be out there for about 10 days next week. They've got 3 children, Grace, Blair, and Adam, and they've got a beautiful Labrador named Rocket. Brian's a dynamic figure. He's often seen scaling walls, crushing ice. He's been known to remodel train stations on his lunch breaks, making them more efficient in the area of heat retention. He translates ethnic slurs for Cuban refugees, writes award-winning operas, manages time efficiently. Occasionally, B. Ross treads water for 3 days in a row. Brian woos women with his sensuous and godlike trombone playing. He can pilot bicycles up severe inclines with unflagging speed and cooks 30-minute brownies in just 20 minutes. He's an expert in succo, a veteran in love and an outlaw in Peru. Using only a hoe and a large glass of water, B. Ross once single-handedly defended a small village in the Amazon basin from a horde of ferocious army ants. He plays bluegrass cello. He was scouted by the Mets, and he's the subject of numerous documentaries. When he's bored, he builds large suspension bridges in his yard. He also enjoys urban hang gliding. On Wednesdays, after recruiting all day, he repairs electrical appliances free of charge. B. Ross is an abstract artist, a concrete analyst, and a ruthless bookie. Critics worldwide swoon over his original line of corduroy evening wear, and he doesn't perspire. He's a private citizen, yet he receives fan mail. He bats .400. His depth floral arrangements have earned him fame in international botany circles, and children trust Brian. B. Ross can hurdle tennis rackets at small moving objects with deadly accuracy. He once read Paradise Lost, Moby Dick, and David Copperfield in one day and still had time to refurbish an entire dining room that evening. He knows the exact location of every food item in the supermarket. He's performed several covert operations for the CIA. He sleeps once a week. When he does sleep, he sleeps in a chair. While on vacation in Canada, he successfully negotiated with a group of terrorists who had seized a small bakery. The laws of physics do not apply to Brian. He balances, he weaves, he dodges, he frolics, his bills are paid. On weekends, he lets go of steam. He participates in full contact origami. Years ago, he discovered the meaning of life but forgot to write it down. He's made extraordinary 4-course meals using only pancake mix in a toaster oven. He breeds prize-winning clams. He's won bullfights in San Juan, cliff diving competitions in Sri Lanka, and spelling bees in the Kremlin. He's played Hamlet, performed open heart surgery, and spoken with Elvis. But of all those things, he is yet to speak on the Gridiron Speaker Series, and he's here with us today. And with that, Brian Ross.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Great to be with you today. And, people like Dan and Paul and John Wayne can appreciate that introduction. And not all of that's true, but I felt like that's the only thing that could possibly compete with Barry's resume. And so that's kind of what I was hoping for. In the spirit of Barry's resume, that's the only introduction that can compete in modern times with Barry Bandera's resume. So, hey, I'm glad to be here. The title of my conversation with you this morning is just FHD flow. And flow is what can be described as the optimal state of consciousness. And this comes from a book I read years ago called The Rise of Superman. And what they did was study extreme athletes and just their ability to perform, when it was literally life or death, So, someone jumping the Great Wall of China on a skateboard, or Laird Hamilton, surfing some of the biggest breaks, in Hawaii that have never been surfed before, where if you make one wrong move, that's it. And so now, incredibly, with this current state of the union, we've had a taste of that, with the insurance industry. I've always said that we're kind of the Navy SEALs of insurance, but now, that takes on a whole new meaning. So I'm excited to share just a couple of key ideas, just some things that I believe about our business in terms of just life philosophy, success principles. Something I have always appreciated about our business is it's a very cookie cutter approach, just like McDonald's, we recruit, we train, we sell. And that hasn't changed one bit from 1989 when we first started the company. So we recruit new agents to our organizations, and they market and sell supplemental health insurance. So it's a simple business, but not an easy business. That was one of the first things that Peter Ferre shared with me when I started 12 years ago with Legacy and Family Heritage. So a key idea, a Zoom key idea, I'm going to throw in a couple nuggets along the way here, is when you do speak to a group, and I'm going to do this now, I want to give it back to Dan Janjigian. So Dan, thanks so much for having me on. What you've created, this platform and the Gridiron Speaker Series is, truly unique. And what an incredible library of the best in our business and people that we've known for many years and people that we appreciate and have the working relationship and the friendship. So Dan, I just want to say thanks for having me on. So when you do that on Zoom meetings, it's important. It gives it back to the person that introduced you, and it's super effective now more than ever. Back to my talk, I wanted to say, and just kind of follow this line of thinking, hopefully everybody is feeling a little bit better 6 weeks later than they were maybe 6 weeks ago. I just remember, having a couple of sleepless nights where I just felt like everything in my organization, my key people, the business that I had built, my renewals, my wife's business, my investments, my retirement, it was all going to be up in the air. And it just was this very fleeting, disheartening feeling of just like, am I going to have to start over? And I'm just not wired like that typically. I'm not the typical early adopter. So if anyone had a couple of nights like that where you couldn't sleep or you were just concerned, about your family's health or their safety or their well-being, I put my BB gun underneath my bed from high school, thinking that if an intruder broke in, I'd be able to take care of business with my Daisy 881. So I can tell you now in this moment, it looks a lot better. And what we've done over the last 6 weeks as a company, creating some new verticals for our collective businesses, and us having a larger pool of blue chip prospects to recruit more than ever before. Now I'm starting to fully understand what this is going to mean and what this is going to look like, for our business. Howard spoke to the Texas group about 3 weeks ago and just talked about, how our value proposition is unmatched and that we are backed by a financial behemoth. And so you're starting to see that now with some of the ads that you saw, like for Yahoo Finance, where Globe Life is hiring nationwide. We're going to have an incredible opportunity going forward. We're going to have more of a well-lit path with Globe Life Family Heritage Division, up to this point in the history of the company. So speaking to you on the Zoom today, I want to share with you that I think you have to realize that now more than ever, you can change your family's legacy. You can literally change your family tree. And our leadership opportunity has never been more sterling. Everything in our business is still about duplication. And so isn't that a relief that there's very few things in our industry or our business with family heritage that we have to come up with on our own. We want to continue to create a buying atmosphere where people see us as the types of people that they want to work with. We want to continue to recruit people that have the qualities and characteristics that we look for. And now, more than ever, this is the time to update your chicken list. And if you don't know what that is, a chicken list is all the people that you've always been a little bit afraid to recruit, like all the people that you've always been a little bit hesitant to talk to about who we are and what we do and how we make a difference. The chicken list are the people that your knees start to knock a little bit, when you talk to them about family heritage and why they should come work with us. But this is that time. This is that time where people's situations are changing. I follow a lot of the money markets and watching, CNBC this morning. So the April, jobs report just came out, 45 minutes ago. 20.5 million people, lost their jobs in the month of April. So 20.5 million people in the month of April lost their jobs. So it is not something to feel good about, but it is something where we can do our part. We can make sure that we're talking to people about why they should come work with us, how much they can learn, how much they can earn, and how much they can grow. So it's important for us now more than ever to have that belief and to really imagine, changing someone's future. You've got that right now in your hands with Globe Life Family Heritage Division. So some of the agency owners on this Zoom this morning, they understand, as I do, the power of lifetime vested renewals. Barry talks about how many pages, his commission statement is, and it's a lot. And mine's a decent size, and I know Van's and John Wayne's and Paul's and Dan's. And so when you think about the power of us being paid on business, first year commissions, and then every year after that, beginning in the second year and beyond, a renewal commission for every active policy. Just looking at my April commission statement, I'm like, wow, when you take those lifetime vested renewals and you multiply it times 12, and that's the amount of money that's going to come into our family's accounts over the course of the next 15, 20 or longer number of years. It is one of the most incredible business opportunities that I think exists in America. When Howard came up with the greatest opportunity in America, that was real. And now you can share that with people, and you can know that it's going to make a huge difference for people in the future. So our enthusiasm plus our urgency is going to equal great results, from this point forward. So our enthusiasm plus urgency is going to equal great results from this point forward. So it's important for us to remember we're the ones that are giving them the opportunity. We have something that people need. We know that the fortune is in the follow-up. The most important thing is that for us to have fun. And if people see us enjoying what we're doing, then the tractor being for people to come work with us is stronger than ever. So I want to encourage everybody to break out your props, for your Zoom meetings. We've been having a lot of fun with hats and sunglasses and sunscreen and light bulbs and ringing the bell. So there's just a lot of different things that we can do to keep it light. We always talk about taking our jobs seriously, but not taking ourselves too seriously. So again, big picture, history is being made right now, with your agency and Globe Life Family Heritage Division. Our neighbor across the street has talked to our girls, Grace and Blair, about right now, she's in her 80s. This is the most significant time that she's ever lived through, and that this is the arc of history, and that we should be keeping journals because our children and our grandchildren are going to want to know how we navigated, this time in our country's history and in the world's history. So we want to do our part. We want to stay in flow. We want to keep that optimal state of consciousness as much as possible, and realize that history is being made right now with your agency and Globe Life Family Heritage Division. It's the same system. It's non-negotiable. It's a 2 out of 3 business. It looks a little bit different now, but the same principles apply. And what's great about our business, I went to the University of Georgia, is you don't have to be super talented to copy what someone else is doing. In school, if you copied off someone's paper, you got in trouble. In our business, if you copy what other people are doing, you get extremely wealthy. So it's like, wow, that's the way to go. In our business, you build generational wealth, being able to copy what other people are doing successfully. And that's the beauty, again, of, our agency, Legacy, Gridiron, Dynasty. It's all open. It's all everyone sharing best practices. This is going to create, even more synergy and communication for our collective businesses than ever before. So there's just never been a better time to be part of Family Heritage Division. Let's see, a couple things, and then I'll get ready to close. So just remember, when talking with people, a no, is not a no forever. Sometimes people are closed-minded. Howard said that, even if we were selling gold bricks at a discount, they'd still be, closed-minded or not as open-minded. So there's still the emotional roller coaster that everybody's on. But we're just trying to be ducks on the pond right now. We're just trying to do what we can, the best we can with our family, best we can professionally. We want to try and get results daily. And these are the weeks, the train wars, we want to giddy up and really try and put our best effort into, especially today and tomorrow. How we finish today and tomorrow going into Mother's Day weekend is mean a lot for momentum going into next week. So ignorance on fire, like right now, it's a good time just to be ignorance on fire, ignorance on fire, ignorance on fire. We don't know everything there is to know about how to sell insurance virtually using secured Zoom meetings, but we've gotten pretty good pretty fast. And now a lot of people are writing Eagles, and, you can just see the evolution and the learning curve of us figuring this out pretty quickly. Howard talked about, it took 20 years, for us to figure out an electronic signature. And so now in the last 6 weeks, we've pivoted and we've come up with an entire platform where we can reservice and protect families virtually. He talked about the way they've done it with banks, the way they've done it with restaurants, the way they've done it with grocery stores, and now how we've done it with the insurance industry and family heritage. So remember, your agency is about creating a lifestyle and just having that long-term vision. It's 5 years from now, just kind of having that expectation that there's not a bill that's going to come into your household that doesn't do a U-turn in the mailbox, that isn't paid for based on residual income. So it's a pretty powerful statement, especially talking with new recruits or people that are new in the business. In 5 years, there shouldn't be a bill that comes into your household that doesn't do a U-turn in the mailbox just based on residual income. And so that is the power of lifetime vested renewals. Always talk to people and speak with truth and love, and have fun. Again, if people see us enjoying what they're doing, there's a lot to be said for that. And we take our jobs seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. People that work with me know that we're in our professional primes, and so this is my last stop professionally. I'm going to be here till the end, and super excited to have the opportunity to speak this morning on the Gridiron Speaker Series. So we are Globe Life Family Heritage Division, and I'll turn it back over to Dan. I hope everyone has a happy Mother's Day weekend.
B. Ross, that's awesome, man. FHL Flow, hashtag, love having it. Patrick Samuels had a question. He said, how are you continuing to express the importance of purpose with your agents at this time? And he also asked about the book that was recommended, which was The Rise of Superman.
Yep. So Rise of Superman is the name of the book. And you know what, Patrick, that's a great question. Here's what I have, and this is always and forever, I think, going to be the case. It's just a really, really good personal conference. It's just time spent. There's always just going to be the time spent. And so now we're not able to get together in person, with people as much as we used to, but you can really spend a lot of time with people, whether it's over the phone or Zoom or any, type communication, platform. And so just listening, it's just going to be listening, some things that they want to see happen, what you can do to help, and nothing like a good power chat or a good personal conference. And it may be an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, but, I think all of us, we're type A personalities. And so, we just don't have the same, I'm seeking attention right now. It's really hard for us to be working from home. I end up doing burpees in my driveway, every day, just hoping people will drive by and notice me. And so, you just have to spend some time with people and have a good personal conference.